Hi, good morning, guys. I'm up early on Memorial Day. Just got out of bed, so forgive the look. But it's 5:30 in the morning, and we're going to start prepping our brisket to get ready to smoke. So check it out. So first things first, we got our brisket. Looks like I paid $46 for this one at Kroger. I've got it sitting on some plastic wrap and then some aluminum foil so that we can start prepping that. But I haven't taken it out of the package just yet. And our ingredients, which I can't see very well on my viewfinder: salt, pepper, garlic powder, maybe a little onion powder. That's gonna be it on it. And then chips. I actually do 1/3 mesquite, 2/3 hickory, and I do soak my chips. The reason for that is that I find that they last longer. And let's see about getting this dude prepped and ready to trim the fat and all that kind of stuff. So, be right back. Okay, so before I prep my meat, I always try to get my smoker going. I have an electric Masterbuilt smoker, and I am one of those old school guys who does not believe in cleaning the inside. I clean my grate, but I'm only cleaning the grate that I'm using. I'm leaving everything else alone. So I got my wood chip pan and my water pan there in the bottom. I'm about to fill those up. I do use water. Water is a thermal regulator. And like I said, I smoke my chips because I feel like it makes them last longer. So instead of getting 5 or 6 hours out of, or getting 4 or 5 hours out of wood chips, I can get 8 or 10 hours of smoke out of them if I can soak them before stick them in there. So I'm going to get all this prepped and actually use the water that I soak my chips. I use that in my pan. That way I've kind of got everything right here together. So I'm going to get this set up, and then we'll talk about prepping the meat. Now again, these chips are mesquite and hickory, and I try to fill this pan up as much as I can, and I did try to mix them up a little bit before I kind of got them in there. And like I said, I'll take my cup of water, fill my water pan up, and of course I'll dig these out. Not that it matters, but again, the water in your pan helps regulate your temperature, and it keeps everything from drying out. I do know some people use sand, and some people say don't use water. Some people say they don't smoke or soak their chips. Here's my thing about smoking, dude. Do what you like, and don't worry about what everybody else does or doesn't do. But don't shun somebody because they do something different than you. I think that's the crappy part of the world right now, is because somebody does something different, we want to shun them. I'm not going to shun anybody. This is just what I do. So we'll get these things stuck back in the smoker, and then we will get it turned on. Okay, so we got them in there. We're going to get this dude closed up. Hopefully you can see all that. Oh, I got to go get the electrical cord. Okay, got the electrical cord, and with my smoker, that's all the way off. I had to take this thing apart once. It got rained on, it got water in it, I had to take it apart and fix it. But basically I just turn it on a little bit because it doesn't adjust heat very well. The smoker's gonna get up to around 250 degrees, and it doesn't seem to have an adjustment. It seems to be where it was whenever it got destroyed. So I need a new one, but it works. So we're gonna let this dude sit, and then we're gonna come out here and we're gonna kind of check the temperature here in a minute and make sure that we get it up around 250 before we put our meat in. And then we're going to go from there. And again, this is a Masterbuilt smoker. Alright, so we're going to get this dude unpackaged in 3, 2, 1. And there it is. Okay, so I've actually flipped it. I've got it fat side up. And this is actually the way that I will smoke it. I smoke it fat side up. But you got to trim some of this fat off. So maybe film a little bit of this, and then it'll be time to start seasoning. Okay, so you don't want to get into the meat, right? Alright, so you get the idea. So I'll come back and show you how I did. Alright guys, there's a look at all the fat I trimmed off. There's a look at the brisket itself. It's not perfect. I try to get down to fairly close to the meat. It's a big deal to me to look on someone's plate when they're eating my brisket and see that they've got a lot of fat left that they're not wanting to eat. So I try to trim it up as much as I can. So again, I try to smoke it fat side up. So I'm going to flip it over here in a second and start my rub. Before that, I'm going to throw my fat away, and I do try to put it in Ziploc bags so that it doesn't stink my trash up. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get to putting the salt and pepper and whatnot on it. And there you go. You flip it and do it again. Salt. Pepper. Garlic powder. Not too much in there. A little bit of onion powder. That's it. Oh, maybe I didn't hit record a second ago, but one of the hardest things to do is get your meat out. You can see it's bigger than my smoker, but I can tell you this, I am rolling smoke. I do have it set to 250 degrees, so it came up to temperature quite nicely. So because it takes both hands to put that dude in there, I'm gonna not film putting the meat in, but I will show you what it looks like before I close the door. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, so I have to put it in there diagonal, and it does bunch up a little bit. Me, I don't care. That's how I do it. Don't probe it yet. I let it sit in there 6 hours before I probe it. That way I can check my water pan and whatnot. So we're going to seal it up and check on it in 6 hours. It's about 6:20 in the morning, so I'm getting a little bit later start. So we'll look at it about 12:20 and see where we stand. Okay, after 6 hours, internal temperature was right at 200, and you need to get it to 195. So my temperature on the smoker was at 250 and raised up to about 275. Typically that means that the smoker it starts to spike after your meat has got to temperature. So having said that, I'm going to put it in, there's actually a casserole dish. I don't know if you can see that. There's a casserole dish under it. I'm going to put this meat in a casserole dish, and I'm going to let it rest for like 2 hours. It is, let's see, 12:30, so it was a 6-hour and 15-minute smoke. And I'm going to let it rest for at least 2 hours, probably 3, because I wrap it in aluminum foil and I set it in a styrofoam cooler, and I try to keep it airtight. And so that is basically my brisket right there. And now I'm going to carve it up in just a little while, or when it's through resting, with a electric knife. And I may show a little bit of that, but that's basically it right there, guys. So phenomenal. Hopefully it tastes good. I'll show you the end result here in just a little bit. Alright, peace out. Alright, so folks want to know what it looks like when it's wrapped in aluminum foil, put it in a casserole dish, wrapped in aluminum foil, and I'm literally in a styrofoam cooler here. Alright, and I'm going to put the lid on it, and then I'm going to slide it under our coffee bar, and I'm going to let it rest for at least 2 hours. And then what that does, it allows the heat to radiate through the entire piece of meat, and allows it to cool off slowly, breaks down some of the fat and some of the tissues. And then we will show some of the carving up with an electric knife. Alright, so guys, stay tuned. Thanks. Alright, I don't know how this will do. I may have to turn around and do it this way. Looks like a success. There you go.
Yummy.